Hier wurde gestartet. All right. So I would just ask you a few questions about you, how you had the idea about this, about your project, how you that you maybe tell a bit about yourself, how your university and research career developed, and that you say something about the project and maybe what you think about the future of biofuels in general, or aviation. It's just a talk, and I will cut it and make it nice and give it to you before we publish it. It will be published at our website, and I guess that we will make some newsletters for our members who will reach the companies, who will reach some universities, and of course our political decision makers. So, Madhumita, I will start the interview now. So when I introduced you at the conference, I so many people said that it was funny that I said I'm happy that my mom isn't friend with your mom about looking at your very successful university career and how many degrees one person can have. Can you just introduce a bit about yourself and yeah, tell me what kind of universities you visited and what kind of degrees you made, how your development in this direction went.
Yes, thank you very much, for giving me the opportunity to brief about myself. So, as you can see, like I started my career I come from Assam, India, and I completed my bachelor degree in chemical engineering from the Assam Engineering College under Gauhati University. And in the year 2003, I completed the same. And upon completion, I was being recruited by an energy pioneer company and Termex Limited in Pune, where I was joined as a graduate engineer trainee. And after that, I promoted to senior proposal engineer, working for energy related functions, which include designing systems for power generation. And this I worked for nearly 4 years. And after that, I further realized that I need to further improve my academic skills and specialize myself in the renewable energy sector. So I then started my journey towards pursuing my master's in renewable energy from University of Oldenburg, Germany, India, under the DAD scholarships. And then I returned to India, where I further continued my profession by working as a guest faculty in the Assam Engineering College. And later, I provided consultations in the bioenergy and bioenergy related policy development under government of Gujarat. Moreover, I worked also providing consultation, working in a international airport that is going to come up in Dholera, one of the specialized economic zone in India. So there I worked, giving input technical insights for renewable projects to be set up under the Greenfield Airport projects. Further, then I've tried to, in order to polish my management skills, I went to pursue my master's in business management from University of Waikato after securing the Students Excellence Scholarships Award under the University of Waikato, New Zealand. Then I again now I wanted to, and biomass is the field that I'm really passionate about, and this is where I started my career here at the Free University of Bozen-Bolzano, and I'm currently a second year PhD student working for producing renewable hydrogen from biomass for sustainable aviation fuel. So this project was actually it is a predefined topic which was being set up already defined in collaboration with the under the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, and the Free University of Bozen-Bolzano has also come up with the topic, and it was being the funding was provided in order to meet the next generation European Union projects and all the objectives related to it. I'm placed at the Nature Innovation Technical Park here at the Bolzano, Italy, wherein there are different departments involved, and I'm working under the biofuel and bioenergy labs. So mostly, this is the new team which is being developed to expand the team for specializing in hydrogen-related work from biomass. So I am currently working on to do a new technology has been set up by a partner company with the university called BioStem. So they have developed one technology, gasification technology, and that technology will be used to produce hydrogen from biomass. But my work, research work, will be more focused on the downstream cleaning syngas, which is being produce the product of the gasification that we will design and simulate a process using an open source software. And then after that, we will perform an economic evaluation in order to study the feasibility of the entire process selected for hydrogen use. So the problem nowadays, what is happening is that sustainable aviation fuel, this is the field which is now currently under focus worldwide. The main reason is that aviation industry, the greenhouse emission, it contributes around nearly 2.5% of the worldwide emissions from all different sectors, and aviation plays one of the role as well. And in order to meet the objectives of net zero emission, this is wherein aviation sector also needs to come forward and plays their important role to reduce as much as possible. And this is the sector, aviation industry is the sector wherein uh, reduction of emissions it's very critical, because we need to if we look around the aviation aeroplane itself, so if we directly feed in new renewable fuel, so it is very costly, because firstly the aeroplanes that it needs to be completely changed the design and everything. So this is one of the technical difficulties associated with it. So the reason so this is the why the scientific community has proposed since 2015 the employment of and deployment of sustainable aviation fuel, producing and blending an aviation fuel in up to 50% with normal jet fuel. So this way it will help to at least reduce greenhouse emissions by around 80%, and this is being expected. So it can play an important role. So but while producing the sustainable aviation fuel, we need to also look around in the emissions standards daily, and which has been emitted in the entire supply chain while producing the sustainable aviation fuel. So here comes one important part to play, is that when producing any jet fuel or sustainable aviation fuel, hydrogen is required. But that hydrogen is as a reactant, it is used to refine the sustainable aviation fuel. But the main problem is that nowadays the hydrogen which are being used to treat the jet fuel is produced from conventional sources still, and the majority of that. So this is the opportunity wherein, because gasification technology is still in advancing stage, and the price the price competition, and it needs further research. So this is where, after electrolysis, this is the new technology which is in a medium technology readiness level of around 7 to 8. So it is in the medium range. So some are already in the implement, it's already in the commercial stage, and some are in the pilot stage. So if we can dedicate research furthermore and reduce this price gap, and also come up, because this is the technology which is already established, we need to just improve little bit and make some changes, and can contribute something in a small way. So we are trying to find that opportunity, to produce hydrogen via gasification. And if that projects becomes successful, then it will be helpful in the long run, so as it's just not focusing on one source of energy, but trying to add different sources and achieve the desired objective. So this is the reason this project was being mainly being initiated,
Yes.
and it is come, and the project is already funded by National Recovery and Resilience Plan. So Europe is planning to blend as much sustainable
Yes.
aviation fuel into the aviation sector. So this is the reason this project has been
Yes.
introduced at our university. Yes.
Very, very interesting. And thank you that you already answered a few things I would have asked you further. So, how do you see this in general about the decarbonization of the aviation? Is it something that the industry can reach without forbid anything? Because in Germany, it's discussed to forbid the flying within Germany, which is making sense to many people because the distances aren't the same like in Russia or the US or something like that. So, and you already said there are some companies who are in the beginning of it, some are further in the development. How do you see the general situation and the decarbonization of aviation? What's your general point of view to this?
Yes, from a general, yes, it is true that in 2015, the commercial airplane has already started blending sustainable aviation fuel, producing from biomass sources and waste. And it is also very true that there are many challenges ahead, and one main challenges is the to get the resources that is required to meet the demand. And the problem is that the coming generation, in the future years, in the immediate future years, the number of flyers traveling by airplanes will be increasing to a very
Yes,
drastic extent, and this
yes,
is where biomass resources is very much we need to it's very limited, and
yes,
we need to use it very in a sustainable manner when we
yes,
exploit it. So this is the reason, for long distance flight it is more sustainable to go for blending
yes,
sustainable aviation fuel to as much as possible, because
of
the
course.
target is 2050 and we need to reduce emission in some way or the other. And
Yeah,
secondly, Airbus company, they are already coming up they are proposing, they are already in the testing stage to produce purely hydrogen fueled airplane. So this is also coming up, and but it will be for short to medium distance. But for long distance, this is something where sustainable aviation fuel can play an important role. But the challenges still remain for feedstock supply. And Europe is
yes,
doing it's in the Europe is already in the first stage, like
yes,
it is already in the implementation and development stage. But the other developing countries is that where developing countries which are already developing and
yes,
economically superpowers, and we are which are already in the developing stage. So those countries also have a good potential of biomass resources. So connecting and producing this sustainable aviation fuel and exploiting these resources in a sustainable manner could
yes,
help to mitigate these challenges related to meeting the demands in the future. So this is one of the prospect. But for a time being, yes, it is true, sustainable aviation fuel in the immediate future, it is a big contribution for reducing emission.
yes,
And yes, and also the many players are already producing sustainable aviation fuels in the Netherlands, like Sky
yes,
Energy and all, Lanzazet and all the companies, Velocis, they are already setting up different technologies for producing sustainable aviation fuel. So if we use the resources wisely, then it is pretty sure we can meet the target to some extent.
yes.
And yes, small change is a big change.
It's
Yes.
true. And I think
Yeah.
about that when I think about biofuels and I look at Germany or Northern or Central Europe, where it's discussed for the public transport, for example, to reduce this to a minimum and totally focus on electricity, which is, of course, not makeable at the moment because the infrastructure isn't there and you can't not when you have now so many cars going by fuel, you can't now switch to electricity, everything. But our impression is that Northern Europe part of Southern Europe is now focusing biofuels for aviation and for shipping. And other parts of this world, for example, India, they rolled out E20 for the public transport. They are further in using biofuels for the public transport and maybe now focusing on aviation. So do you have an impression about the different regions all over the world? Because is it true, my impression, Northern Europe maybe less focused on the public transport for biofuels, more for aviation now, and like Asia, Southeast Asia is now developing more for the public transport. Is that an impression that you would agree to?
Yes, after during my research work, when I was engaging with some of my industrial stakeholders, even in my home country in India. So India is a country like where the population is high and the demand is also very high, and we need to be very much considerable in choosing the appropriate and the most feasible option. So this is wherein in India we are planning to focus more on producing hydrogen via electrolysis, the green hydrogen, and the not so much has been done for aviation sector, but yes, for the road and the public transport, this is where their hydrogen policy has been devised since last 2 years, and government of India has devised an important hydrogen policy, and they are planning to execute hydrogen fuel based vehicles on the as a public transport, and also for private vehicles as well. So we are focusing more on that in a country like India. And but when it comes to Europe, yes, we can clearly see that for public transports, road transports, more focus, including trains, railways, and buses and private cars. Hydrogen has been more focused,
Yes,
especially through electrolysis, green hydrogen, and they are not so much into biofuels like
yes,
bioethanol. So
yeah,
yeah, because depending on the geographical locations, and also looking into various factors
yes,
which enables to make such policy decision after gaining lots of experience. So it is more feasible in Europe to go for green hydrogens for public transports, and looking for opportunities to improve on the aviation sector as well.
yes,
And because it's not like the South American countries wherein they are more focused on
yeah,
biofuels
yeah,
for public transport.
it's true.
So depending on the geolocations and the political and the policy decision of the government, it varies from country to country. So the scenario is quite different.
But it
Yes.
is. Thank you for your answers. You already answered my question to this topic, and now I have the final question. This is more general. Um, I want to know because as a feminist, I'm always interested in getting more women to this conference and especially to the sciences topics. And um, you reached already a lot as a female scientist, and
Yes, thank you.
you have seen many stations, gone many stations of scientists and universities. What kind of hint or tip would you give young scientists, especially young female scientists or young girls in school who might be interested in chemistry or physics or kind of biological sciences? Do you have any tips or hints for them what they should do to follow the kind of career you already have?
Yes, see, choosing a career, whether depend irrespective of gender, choosing a career, it depends on how one has particular interest in one particular area. It depends on the passion they have, and depending on uh, experiences they gathered with time when they grow. Any individual, be it a girl or be it a boy, it all depends on the experiences and the academic learnings they gather with time. So I would definitely, from my experience, what I can say is that whatever, be it a boy or be it a girl, like irrespective of that, if they focused on what they are passionate about, so they can achieve anything. It's not so difficult. But the yes, one thing is that if we are coming into a, if one is wanted to pursue a career in the scientific sector. It's because, as you can say, that modern science, it can solve some of the problems in the society that we are facing. So as a, if anyone pursues a career in fields similar to us, like us, so they should try to start and giving contribution in some way, in a small way, in their career, by exploiting and utilizing whatever the learnings they have gained throughout their academic career. And if they can do that, so that's the biggest contribution one can have towards their own society and their own country. Yes.
Thank you very much. This was an amazing answer. Thank
Yeah.
you for this interview. We are at the end of our time. I recorded everything and I
Yes.
will cut it and prepare it for our website and send it to you before.
Yes.
So, and yes, as I said, during summertime, we will let you know more about the upcoming year, the
Yes.
upcoming conference. I
Yes.
say thank you again, Madhumita.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's my pleasure to,
Yeah,
have
it
a
was our
discussion with
pleasure.
you.
Really, really, the feedback to your session was so great. It was our pleasure to have you. And I'm
Yes.
already excited and looking forward to meet you in person next year. But until that,
Yes.
we will exchange a bit more via email and phone
Yes.
calls. So
Yeah,
thank you very
absolutely,
much,
sir.
Madhumita. Sending
Yeah, bye.
greetings from Berlin. Have a nice
Yes.
week.
And
Bye
you too.
bye.
Send also. I'm
Bye.
sending my greetings from Bolzano, Italy.
Bye.
Yeah, bye bye. Yeah, bye.